Why listening is the key to mastering English. Listening is not just one of the 4 skills in language learning: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. It's the foundation. Think about it. When you first learned your native language, what did you do? You listened. Before you ever spoke your first word, you spent months, even years, just listening to the people around you. That's how you naturally learned your mother tongue, and that's exactly how you will master English. 1. Listening is like training your brain. Listening to English is the best way to train your brain to think in English. When you listen to others, you absorb the way they use words, the flow of sentences, and the sound of the language. Your brain is incredibly powerful. It picks up patterns, remembers sounds, and learns to predict what comes next. When you listen regularly, you're giving your brain the chance to make these connections and prepare you to speak without hesitation. Think of it like going to the gym. When you work out your muscles, you get stronger. When you work out your listening muscles, you become stronger in English. 2. Listening teaches real, natural English. One of the biggest benefits of listening is that it teaches you how English is actually spoken. Textbooks often show you the perfect way to form sentences, but in the real world, people don't always speak that way. For example, in textbooks, you might learn, "What are you going to do today?" But in natural speech, you'll often hear, "What you going to do today?" By listening to English as it's really spoken, whether through conversations, podcasts, or movies, you'll hear these natural shortcuts and informal ways of speaking. It prepares you for real-life situations, so you don't feel lost when someone speaks to you quickly or casually. 3. Listening improves your speaking skills. You might wonder, how does listening improve my speaking? Well, think of language like music. To sing well, you first need to listen to music. It's the same with English. You need to hear the rhythm, pronunciation, and tone before you can speak fluently. When you listen, you're internalizing the way words are pronounced and how sentences are structured. Over time, these patterns become automatic. You won't even realize it, but you'll start speaking the way you've been hearing. Listening is the most natural way to improve your accent and fluency because you're learning directly from native speakers. Example, let's say you're listening to a podcast where the host says, "I'm heading to the store." After hearing this enough times, your brain will automatically store this phrase, and when it's time for you to speak, you'll naturally say, "I'm heading to the store," rather than struggling to translate from your native language or think of the perfect grammar. 4. Listening helps with vocabulary and grammar. It's not enough to just know words. You need to understand how to use them in real life. When you listen to English regularly, you learn new words in context. You see how they are used in sentences, what other words they often appear with, and how their meaning changes depending on the situation. For example, the word run can mean to move quickly on foot, he's going for a run. To operate something, she runs a business. To last for a period of time, the meeting will run for an hour. By listening to different conversations, podcasts, or shows, you'll learn these different meanings automatically, without needing to memorize definitions from a dictionary. 5. Listening builds confidence. One of the most frustrating parts of learning English is feeling nervous or unsure when it's time to speak. But the more you listen, the more confident you become. Why? because listening helps you become familiar with the language. When you hear how sentences are formed, how words are pronounced, and how ideas are expressed, you'll naturally feel more comfortable speaking yourself. You won't be worried about whether you're saying things right, because you'll already know how it should sound. You've heard it many times before. Listening every day can remove the fear of making mistakes and give you the confidence to start conversations. What should you listen to? Now that we know why listening is so powerful, let's talk about what you should listen to in order to improve your English. 1. Listen to English that matches your level. If you're a beginner, it's important to start with content that's easy to understand. This could be podcasts made for English learners, slow and clear speeches, or YouTube videos where the speaker talks at a moderate pace. You don't want to start with something too advanced and get frustrated. Choose something that's challenging but not overwhelming. 2. Listen to natural English conversations. The best kind of English to listen to is everyday conversations. These can be found in TV shows, movies, or YouTube videos where people talk naturally. By listening to these, you'll learn common phrases, slang, and how people really speak in different situations. 3. Listen to things that interest you. Learning English shouldn't feel like a chore. To make it fun, listen to things that you enjoy. Love cooking? Listen to cooking shows or podcasts in English. Interested in sports? Watch sports commentary or interviews in English. This way, you'll stay motivated and learn faster because you're interested in what you're hearing. 4. Listen to podcasts. Podcasts are a great way to practice listening because you can listen anywhere, while commuting, exercising, or relaxing at home. Look for beginner-friendly English podcasts where the host speaks slowly and clearly. 5. Watch English movies and TV shows. Movies and TV shows are full of real conversations, expressions, and tones. Start with subtitles if you need them, then gradually turn them off as your listening skills improve. You'll start to pick up the natural rhythm of the language and how people express emotions. How often should you listen? The answer is simple: as much as possible. Make listening a daily habit, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. The more you expose yourself to the language, the faster you'll improve. Here's a simple plan to start with. Morning. Listen to an English podcast while getting ready for the day. Afternoon. Watch a short video or episode of an English TV show during your break. Evening. Listen to English music or watch a movie before bed. The key is to listen to a variety of things, different accents, topics, and situations, so you can understand English in many contexts. How to make the most of your listening practice. Just listening is not enough. To really benefit from it, you should be active while you listen. Repeat what you hear. If you hear a new word or phrase, pause the audio and repeat it out loud. This helps with pronunciation and memory. Take notes. Write down new words or interesting phrases. Try to use them in your own sentences later. Ask questions. If you don't understand something, don't just ignore it. Look it up or ask someone. This way, you'll keep learning and growing. Listening is truly the secret weapon for mastering English. It connects all the skills together, speaking, reading, writing, and helps you grow in each of them. It's how you train your ears to hear the music of the language, how you teach your brain to think in English, and how you boost your confidence when speaking. If you're serious about improving your English, Make listening a priority. Every day you listen, you're getting one step closer to fluency. Keep listening, keep learning, and soon you'll find yourself speaking English more naturally and confidently than ever before. Listening isn't just one piece of the puzzle in language learning. It's the very foundation. You can't truly become fluent in English without mastering listening. Think of it like this. When a baby learns to speak, they don't start with grammar rules or writing. They listen for months, absorbing sounds, tones, and the rhythm of speech. That's how they learn. So, as adults learning English, we can't ignore the power of listening. The hidden benefits of listening to English. 1. Listening sharpens your ear for English sounds. English, like every language, has its own set of sounds. There are certain vowels, consonants, and combinations of letters that might not exist in your native language. For instance, the sound TH in words like think, or this can be tricky for non-native speakers. But here's the good news. The more you listen, the more your brain gets used to these unfamiliar sounds. Over time, you'll start recognizing them easily, and before you know it, you'll be able to pronounce them clearly. When you expose your ears to English regularly, you train yourself to hear even the subtle differences in pronunciation. Example, in American English, the word water might sound like water, but in British English, it might sound like vavta. By listening to different accents and varieties of English, you'll learn these differences effortlessly. English is spoken all over the world, and that means there are hundreds of accents, from British, American, and Australian accents to regional varieties like New York or Irish accents. Learning to understand these is essential if you want to be truly fluent. Regular listening gives you the power to understand people from different backgrounds, making you a more versatile English speaker. At first, you might find some accents challenging, but as you listen more, you'll adapt and get better at picking up words, no matter the accent. Start by listening to one accent you feel comfortable with, like American or British English. Once you feel confident, begin exploring others. Listen to YouTubers from the UK, the US, Canada, or Australia. You'll notice how the same word sounds slightly different depending on who's saying it. When you're listening to English, whether it's podcasts, conversations, or songs, you're constantly being exposed to new words. But what's really special about listening is that you're learning these words in context. Instead of memorizing words from a list, listening helps you understand how words are used naturally in sentences. You learn the real meaning of a word, when to use it, and how it fits into different conversations. Imagine you're watching a TV show and someone says, "I'm starving." From the context, maybe they've been hiking all day. You learn that starving means very hungry. You don't need a dictionary. You understand it from the situation. Listening is like absorbing a living dictionary. We all know grammar can be difficult. There are so many rules, exceptions, and tiny details that can be overwhelming. But here's the magic of listening. You absorb grammar naturally without needing to focus on every rule. When you listen to conversations, you hear how sentences are structured and how grammar is applied. This subconscious learning is just like how you learned your first language. Instead of memorizing the past tense of every verb, you simply hear someone say, "I went to the store yesterday," and your brain stores that information. After enough listening, you'll just know that "I go" becomes "I went" in the past, without needing to think about it. English has a certain rhythm and melody to it, which is difficult to understand through reading alone. In spoken English, some words are stressed while others are said quickly or softly. The way people pause and emphasize certain words can change the meaning of a sentence entirely. By listening to English, you get a feel for this rhythm. You learn to recognize the natural flow of speech and intonation patterns. This is especially important for asking questions, expressing emotions, or making your speech sound more natural. Consider the difference between "you're going to the party" statement, "you're going to the party?" question with a rising tone. The meaning changes completely based on how you say it, and you can only understand these nuances by listening to spoken English. Now that you understand the importance of listening, let's explore the best things to listen to for fast improvement in English. Podcasts are an excellent way to practice listening because you can find them on almost any topic imaginable, whether you like sports, cooking, travel, or motivation. There are podcasts specifically designed for English learners, but you can also listen to podcasts meant for native speakers once you get more confident. Audiobooks are also great because you get the chance to hear proper English in a slow and clear way. Many audiobooks come with the written text, so you can follow along while you listen. You can start with a podcast like The English We Speak from BBC, which teaches useful English phrases. Or try listening to audiobooks of classic stories like Alice in Wonderland or The Great Gatsby. It's fun, and you'll hear a variety of vocabulary and grammar in action. YouTube is a gold mine for English learners. There are millions of videos on every topic you can think of, from travel vlogs to cooking shows to educational channels. You can watch real-life conversations or explanatory videos about almost any subject. TED Talks are particularly useful because the speakers are usually clear, engaging, and talk about interesting topics. You can turn on subtitles if you need to, but the goal is to listen first and understand the main ideas. Pick a YouTuber who speaks slowly and clearly. Listen carefully and try to understand the main points. Repeat the video if necessary, and note down any new phrases or vocabulary. Watching movies and TV shows is one of the best ways to improve your English listening skills. Unlike podcasts or audiobooks, movies and shows allow you to see the context of conversations, which helps you understand better. You can also hear how people speak in different situations: formal, informal, serious, funny, etc. You don't need to watch with subtitles the whole time, but you can use them when you're just starting out. Try switching them off after you're more comfortable. Start with shows that have simpler dialogue like Friends or The Office, and gradually move to more complex dramas or movies. Listening to English songs is not just fun, it's a great way to memorize words and phrases. Songs have repetitive lyrics, which helps your brain remember them more easily. Plus, the melody and rhythm of music make it easier to recall the words. You can listen to all genres, from pop to country to rock. Each style of music has its own unique vocabulary. Try singing along and look up the lyrics if you don't understand something. This will also help with your pronunciation. 1. Shadowing technique. This technique is where you listen to a speaker and try to repeat exactly what they say, right after they say it. It's like becoming a shadow of the speaker. This helps you practice pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. Find an audio clip, a podcast, a speech, or even a YouTube video. Listen to a sentence, pause, and try to repeat it as closely as possible, imitating the speaker's tone and speed. Do this several times until you feel confident. Then, move to the next sentence. 2. Transcribe what you hear. Listening is not passive. To really improve, you need to engage with the material. One of the best ways to do this is by transcribing what you hear. This means listening to a short piece of audio and writing down exactly what is said. This technique helps you focus on every word and sound. It's like laser-focused listening, where you pay attention to details that you might normally miss. 3. Listen and summarize. After you listen to something, a podcast, a conversation, or a TV show, try to summarize it in your own words. This forces you to understand what you've heard and helps you practice expressing it. If you can explain something to someone else, it means you really understood it. Listening isn't just a step in learning English. It's the gateway to full fluency. By listening regularly, you train your mind to think in English. You start recognizing patterns in the language, absorbing patterns in grammar and vocabulary, and building a deeper understanding of how English works in real-life situations. The more you listen, the more you immerse yourself in the language, which is the fastest way to improve. 3. To truly benefit from listening, you need the right mindset. It's easy to get frustrated when you don't understand every word or sentence at first. But here's the thing. You don't need to understand everything. In fact, when native speakers communicate, they don't always understand every word either. What matters is that you get the general idea and context. When you listen, focus on the key message. What is the speaker trying to say? Don't get stuck on every single word. Context. If you don't understand a word, the surrounding words or the situation can give you clues about its meaning. Repetition. Don't expect to get it perfect the first time. Listen to the same audio multiple times. Each time, you'll catch something new and it will start to make sense. Why you should listen daily. Think of listening to English like exercising a muscle. If you want stronger muscles, you have to work out regularly. The same goes for your listening skills. If you listen to English for just 20 to 30 minutes a day, you'll start seeing improvement very quickly. But it's not just about the amount of time you spend listening. It's about consistency. Your brain needs regular exposure to the language to build new neural connections and store new information. Imagine you're learning how to ride a bicycle. If you practice riding once a week, it will take a long time to get comfortable. But if you practice every day, even for a short time, you'll learn much faster. It's the same with listening. The more often you do it, the faster you'll improve. When you're first starting out, it's normal to struggle. English can sound fast, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But don't give up. Here are a few strategies to make listening easier. Start with slower speeds. Many platforms, like YouTube or podcasts, let you adjust the playback speed. Start by listening at a slower pace. Once you feel more confident, gradually increase the speed back to normal. 2. Use subtitles. It's okay to use subtitles when you're just beginning, but try to listen first without them. Subtitles can help with difficult sections, but your goal should be to train your ears, not your reading skills. Break the audio into smaller parts. If a podcast or video feels too long or difficult, break it into smaller chunks. Listen to just 5 minutes, pause, and try to summarize what you understood. Then move on to the next section. Practice with interactive listening. Some language apps offer interactive exercises where you listen and then answer questions. This active approach helps your brain engage with the material, making the learning process more effective. Here's one of the biggest benefits of listening that people often overlook. It directly impacts your speaking confidence. The more you listen to English, the more familiar the sounds and patterns become. When it's time to speak, you'll find that the words and sentences flow more naturally because you've already heard them many times. Listening helps you build muscle memory for speaking. Just like how a musician practices scales to play an instrument fluently, you need to listen to English to speak it fluently. Your brain starts recognizing which words to use, how to phrase sentences, and how to express ideas clearly. Think about how you remember the lyrics to your favorite song. You don't study the words. You just hear the song enough times that they stick in your mind. This same process happens when you listen to English. After enough exposure, common phrases and vocabulary will stick with you, and you'll start using them naturally in conversation. When you listen to native speakers, you're not just learning the language. You're also picking up on the cultural aspects of how English is spoken. For example, you'll notice how certain words or phrases are used differently depending on the situation or emotion. In some cultures, people might say, "How are you?" as a polite greeting, but they don't always expect a detailed response. Or you might hear phrases like, "No worries," or "It's cool," which are informal ways of saying everything is fine. These little cultural nuances are hard to learn from a textbook, but easy to understand when you listen to real conversations. One of the best things you can do to improve your listening is to listen to native English conversations. Whether it's through TV shows, YouTube vlogs, or even interviews, hearing how native speakers interact in everyday situations is incredibly valuable. Why this works? Authenticity. You're hearing the way people actually talk, not the overly formal or simplified English you might find in some textbooks. Exposure to slang and idioms. Native speakers use a lot of informal language, and by listening, you'll get used to hearing common expressions that aren't always taught in English classes. Understanding fast speech. Native speakers often speak quickly, link words together, or drop certain sounds. The more you listen, the more you'll be able to follow this fast, natural speech. Here's the thing. Listening is the fastest way to improve. It doesn't require a lot of complicated rules or studying. You can listen anywhere, anytime. And the best part is, it's an enjoyable way to learn. You can listen to topics you love, whether that's music, motivational speakers, comedy shows, or documentaries. Every time you listen, remind yourself that you're one step closer to fluency. Don't be discouraged if you don't understand everything at first. The process of listening builds up over time. The more you listen, the more natural English will become. Make listening part of your daily routine. It doesn't have to feel like hard work. Put on a podcast while you're driving. Listen to an audiobook before bed, or watch an episode of a show during lunch. You'll be amazed at how much progress you make without even realizing it. Remember, listening builds your understanding of the language. It expands your vocabulary naturally. It helps with pronunciation and accent improvement. It teaches you grammar without memorizing rules. It makes your speaking more natural and confident. When you commit to listening every day, you're investing in your fluency. You're absorbing the language,